Okay, I'm on. Okay. Wow. This is some foolishness for real. The side chicks of Charlotte. All right, go on now. The side chicks of Charlotte. Boy, I tell you, but whew, we're going into a place, y'all, that we might not be able to recover from, or in our society. Man, oh man, oh man. We're gonna have to. So I was waiting for Facebook to find me some people. It's looking like they not finding me no people tonight. So nevertheless, we're just gonna talk for a moment about what's going on in our society. We got a lot going on, y'all. We got a whole lot going on. So we got a whole lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to pray about. We got a whole lot to think about. What's happening in our world, uh, our current presidential race, and our current candidates that's leading the way right now. Of course, is uh, Donald Trump is leading the way, and so we got the Donald leading the way, and then we got, of course, we have our current president, the incumbent. Um, what's his name? Joe Biden. Uh, and I do know this, that I'm not voting Democrat no more. I'm done with the Democrats. I think I'm just going to start voting um, private, on the non-ballot or whatever that they call that thing. I can't even think of the name of it right now. But I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote either Democrat or Republican at this stage in my life. Just it's no benefit to us to vote either party as Black people. There's no benefit. There's just no benefit. Hey, Michelle, Graham, how are you? There's just no benefit for us as a race of people, as Black people in America. It's just seemingly no benefit for us to vote in this presidential election, in this current context. We probably should just focus our energy on voting in our local governments, and figure out another political party that we could all place our energy in, and create and vote in that block, in that space, so that we could create some unity and unification, some solidarity amongst ourselves. Because at this stage, it doesn't seem to be working for us to vote in the current situation. Nobody seems to have our best interests at heart. Biden comes in, and he's so disrespectful. The Democrats are so disrespectful with how they handle us and how they treat us. I remember Robert, what's his name? The guy that used to own BET. And he was talking, I was listening to an interview, and he was talking about when he owned BET, when he owned BET, he was the presidential election was coming up, and he came at the Democrats and was like, "Hey man, y'all need to spread some of that money my way so I could, advertise, on my network." Excuse me. And they told him, basically, we don't need to advertise on your network because we already got the black vote. So we don't need to spend no money with you, brother. You just stay over there in the cuts, and because we control the black vote. The black vote was already ours. It's already ours for the taking. We don't need to do nothing to streamline that process, or to pull those people in, because they're already ours. And times have changed, and things are a little bit different now. They're not as easy to no more to get our votes. So this last election cycle, they were doing a whole bunch of begging and really pulling for us to vote for them because they need us now. At first they had us in the bag, and so now they need us, and so now they have to ask for our vote. They got to come to us, and they got to make us some promises, and they got to say this, and they got to say this, say that, and they got to give us a song and a dance, and then they get in office and don't do nothing at all for us. They say, well, I'll explore this and I'll do that, but then when they get in office, nothing happens. They don't do nothing for us at all. And so now, it has gotten so ridiculous. You got a Biden who literally is probably one of the worst politicians ever in past Jim Crow, post Jim Crow. One of the worst politicians ever towards black people post Jim Crow. We forget that he stood on the floor of Congress and called black youth super predators. He co-wrote the crime bill, and he pushed the agenda for black folk to go to jail. And I quote, this is what I say, and I quote what he says verbatim. He says, "I don't care if we did create them." What's up, Richard Fontenot? What's up with you, man? I don't care if we did create them. They need to go to jail. So what he was saying was he knows, because he's a part of the issue. They know what they did. They know how they put black people in a box and how they placed us in these geographical locations and in every city in the United States of America. There's a 6-block to 12-block radius where only black folk live. We don't live outside of those radiuses, and they put us in these situations where we are bound by the socioeconomic system, and underprivileged and underserved and so any behavioral scientist, hey Tanisha, any behavioral scientist will tell you if you put people and stack people up and put people in a situation where they can't get everything they need, they start to do things that are degrading to each other. So we end up fighting against each other. We end up warring against each other. We end up killing each other. What's up, George? We end up killing each other. Uh, and so we start doing all type of things to each other, not just killing each other, but we do all type of devilish, demonic things to each other when we're bound and we're close to each other and we have no way out. We have no movement up or down or sideways or no movement forward or backwards. No ability to expand. They put us in situations like this. And so Joe Biden stood on the floor of Congress and he gave one of the most evilest speeches ever to be given on the floor of the Congress of the United States of America. Uh, and so at this stage, I can't vote Democrat anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the Democrat. I'm not saying that I'm a Republican. I'm moving in a Republican direction, but I'm simply saying I'm done with the Democratic movement. I can't anymore support the agenda of the Democrats and what they stand for, how they've treated us as a people. They've totally taken us for granted. They totally uh, don't care at all about us. What's up, brother Youssef? They totally don't care anything about us. They've vehemently put situations in place to uh, proctor us, and then at the same time uh, take from us. And so we don't need to be in situations where we're taken for granted, we're used. Um, yes, sir. We're taken for granted. Yes, brother Joe, yourself. What we're taken for granted. Man, it's been long overdue, George. They take us for granted. They care. They don't care, and so we as a people we get in this thing that we do, where's this monotony. We just go with the flow, and sometimes I think we're just lazy, and we won't move outside of the box. We won't move outside of what's comfortable to us. And it's comfortable just to keep voting that way and keep saying the Democrats love us because they give us welfare and they give us all of these benefits. And then what they do to us, they give us these benefits and then they come right back on the back end and take them from us in taxes. So man, come on, man. We come on, man. We gotta grow up. We gotta get better at what we're doing as a people. If we don't come together and create a system, if we don't come together and create a system that's designed for us, that's right, Tanisha, absolutely. If we don't come together and create a system that's designed for us, uh, Dr. Claude Anderson says it. He says it like this. He says, we won't have an economic base. And I think Claude, at the time he was saying it, he was saying, "Hey, Nisi." At the time Claude was saying it, Claude was saying this: we won't have an economic base some 35 years ago, and he was predicting then in 50 years that we won't have an economic base if we don't change our thinking patterns and our position. We got to change how we're thinking. my people. We got to change how we're thinking. We got to change our movement. We got to start moving differently so that we can get some different results. Because these people do not care about you. You see the landscape. Now watch this, y'all. It's being crushed now. Yes, it's. I believe you're right, brother. Yourself. Check this out. I was watching YouTube earlier today, and brother Richie Rashad, he comes on and he shows us a video. Y'all should probably go watch it. Change how we think. That's right. So white people got black people and we got white people living right next door to each other. Watch this, y'all. The white people is playing their music really loud. The sister has asked these people not to play their music so loud, to cut their music down. They don't. So what the sister does is she hits the alarm on her car, and the alarm on her car starts to beeping. Bah, bah, bah. So the white folk didn't like that, so they called the police. Now the sister had already made multiple complaints about what these people are doing. Now we're talking in Arkansas, y'all. They'd already made multiple complaints about what these people are doing. She had already made multiple complaints. The white officer, he comes to the house and he jams the black lady up and don't say nothing to the white people, and their music is blaring. Don't say nothing to the white people. So he don't say nothing to the white people. He's getting ready to leave. She calls out his racist activity. He comes up to her and tells her, I want to see your ID. She tells him, I have to give you my ID. I'm in my house. This man walks in her house, knocks her down on her couch, handcuffs her, and takes her to jail. Knocked her down on her couch, walked in her house, knocked her down on her couch, and takes her to jail. Where they do that at? No husband, nobody but her son at home. Who's going to stand up for her? Who's going to fight that battle for her when this man just walks up in her house? Because if you just walk up in my house, I got every right to stand my ground in my house. I got every right to stand my ground in my house. So I'm saying that to say this. I'm setting the stage for this. These people have put into place. We can go all the way back to the 60s and the 70s. And these people have put systems in place to move the black man away from his family and make them vulnerable out here, make the black woman vulnerable out here without any help, without nobody to stand up for her, and without nobody to fight for her, because they set the stage and they moved us out of the house. They got us away from our families, and so they got a tracking system that they're using, y'all, to do this to us, to divide and conquer us. Now you look at the narrative. Now we got the sisters is coming hard against the brothers, and the brothers is coming hard against the sisters, and you know the sisters is in a position now where they're seemingly doing better than the black man. The black woman is seemingly doing better than the black man. She's enrolled in school more. She has jobs that are greater. She got all of these benefits that's afforded to her as a black woman. And some of the sisters are not looking at it for what it is. They're looking at it as, they're on top and they're winning and they're, you know, they're leading the way, and you know, they the prize, and they all of this and all of that. And so now, you know, now they've created this situation where we got a lot of black women that are really haters of men. The term is called, you know, the term misogyny means to hate women. Now, there's another term. It's called misandry. Hey, sister, it's called misandry, which means a hater of men. So we got these systems in place. We got all of these things in place that's designed to separate us and to divide us. What this is what they actually want. They're not really so much interested in the black male vote. They're interested in the black female vote. The black female vote to them means more than the black male vote. I'm not saying that they don't want the black male vote, but they're more concerned about that female vote, because it was a female vote this last cycle that put Biden, the black female vote this last cycle that helped push Biden into the White House. And so they're more interested in that. They're more interested in that black female vote. So in order to keep that black female vote coming, they got to create systems to keep that black woman winning, and keep her eating, and keep her at the top of the food chain. Because if she's at the top of the food chain, she's going to pay back to them what they have been, what they need. I'll say, like, not what they have, but what they need to keep winning. She's gonna stay in that lane, and she's gonna stay moving progressively in that circle, in that Democratic circle, so that she could keep eating the way she's eating. So the most underserved person in America is the black man. He's the most underserved person in America. I know the black women are saying they're the most unprotected, they're the most this, they're the most that. But nobody has paid That's right. You couldn't tell them nothing. Nobody has paid a greater price in America like the black man is paid. And I'm just, you know, I'm not knocking nobody, but nobody has paid a greater price in America that the black man is paid. The black man is paid severely in this American governmental system. He's paid severely, and so we gotta create a system, brother. Yourself and hey, Robin, how you doing? Good to see you. We gotta create a system. We gotta create a system, brother. Yourself and George, man, to start empowering us, man, to get us in a better position, to get our minds thinking right and get us moving in a direction that can be empowering, not just for us but for our women. We need to protect our sisters, because our sisters are out here, bro, single, out here single with no protection, just unvalidated in a lot of situations, mad, they angry at everything, that, you know, they're having success, but managing that success without a husband sometimes can be daunting. It can be challenging to do. Everybody wants some level of companionship. Everybody wants to be with somebody, but we have it. We're in a situation where in a lot of cases we just not on their level. And the way the women thinking now, uh, they don't think like we think in terms of, some don't. I'm not talking about all, but they don't think like we think in terms of, uh, men. We'll take a woman. We'll take a sister. We'll take a sister, and don't that's probably not on our level, and we'll build with her. But women don't seem to think like that. Um, they they not taking you too much, pretty much, if you're not on their level. If you don't have what they have, they pretty much are not. They gonna stay away from you. You don't meet the criteria. Um, they're not going to get the brother under the tree, that hasn't developed fully yet, and helping him build to something great. They're not doing that. Most of the sisters these days, because they're too educated. They PhD'd up. They got multiple degrees. They six figures. They own their homes. They got all of this stuff without you. So if I have all of this without you, then I need you to come to the table with something greater than what I have. And so this has been the general attitude, or either on my level. But men don't think like that, because generally sometimes we don't even care what a woman has. We don't even care. They don't. We don't usually don't even care what a woman has. We'll take her. Um, with her kids, and we'll build a life with her, and we'll move forward, and we'll progress with her. But they just don't seem to be thinking like that. um, this is what we've been noticing. This is the trends that we've been seeing over the last few years. What's been happening within our black structure, our black family structure. So our black family structure is suffering tremendously because um, they have divided us. They have divided us. They have us. They have us. They have us um, in the boxing ring. She over there in the blue corner. I'm over here in the red corner. And yeah, Robin, you're right. Sometimes men reject the successful woman. I'm gonna tell you the reason why they reject a successful woman. Because some men cannot manage uh, a woman's success. This one time I was this was when I was running my linen company, my laundry company, and I was servicing one of my customers. And while I was in there servicing her, one of her family members came in, and he was saying to her, he said, and I'm not gonna say the girl's name, but he was saying, your friend, um, I can't talk to her. He said, I just can't talk to her. And so she asked the question. She said, why? She said, because she don't need me for nothing. She don't need me for nothing. And so the sister, her attitude was so bad because she was so successful that she made him feel totally inadequate um, about her success. So she, in fact, because later on, and this was really ironic, later on she came through the spot, and she was bothered that the guy had quit talking to her. She was totally bothered that he had quit talking to her. But what she failed to realize was she ran him off with her behavior, her energy. Her energy pushed him away from her. And so she was so bothered, she started crying because this had kept happening to her over a course of time. It kept happening because she kept with the same energy. She wasn't catching what was actually happening to her. So sometimes men, because of positionally and the way we're taught, and the way it's being taught, and how it's being pushed into our mind, is that we're the provider. So if I'm the provider, I'm supposed to take care of her, and I'm coming into a situation where she don't need me, then I can only do one thing: either just reject her and go try to find somebody, and then that ends up getting put into a place where now he's trying to find somebody that's weaker, somebody that don't have it together, somebody that's not established, and then so you always in between a rock and a hard place, dealing with these dynamics around relationships and trying to connect with that successful woman. I think what sisters got to do. I think what we have to do, and we always used to say this about men, but I think it's even more prevalent these days. The egos of women. Yes, right, right. We get confused with money. Yes, and so money becomes a driving force, in these situations. But I think what sisters got to start doing is, I think they got to start kind of checking the egos at the door sometimes, especially when you highly successful. I mean, like you, Robin. For example, you highly successful. I mean, extremely accomplished. So an average dude is just not going to be able to handle. I mean, an archetype. He's not going to be able to handle your success. It's too massive for the average fella. I'm just saying the average. He's just not going to be able to come into that situation and be comfortable just being able to physically and emotionally meet you there. That is just going to be too hard for him to work through that process if he doesn't have a certain level of confidence about himself, and he doesn't have a certain level of self-esteem and self-worth. It's going to be really hard for him to come in and manage that process with you. And some of the others, it's really challenging. And so we come into these situations where we are successful um, in multiple ways. We successful in multiple ways because successful in wealth is wealth and success. They kind of run synonymous with each other, but rich and wealth is two different things. So so let me ask this question: what's the ideal man for, right, yourself? What's the ideal man for a woman that is extremely successful? What's the ideal man? Let me ask you, Robert, what's the ideal man you think for you, just in your situation? What's the ideal man for you? And then we can kind of move into that, kind of move into that direction. What's the ideal man for you, considering your level of success? Does he have to? Does he have to be white collar? Could he be blue collar? Could he? Could does the what is his what does his financial status need to be? Just kind of just a little synopsis of that. But yeah, brother, yourself, it's two totally different things when we look at it like that. But these people, you got to understand that these people spend billions of dollars studying the psychology of us. They can almost tell you verbatim how we're going to respond in certain situations. They understand our psychological landscape. They understand our emotions. They understand our movement because they've done the work. If you pay attention to job interview questions. Job interview questions are designed to create a certain psychological response, and your answers tell where you at in multiple areas of how you think and how you process things. So you could be led into a trap at work. Man, the physiology. So you could be at work and they could trap you. They could literally set you up and watch you fall. How you doing, brother Pringle? Larry Pringle, how you doing? They could set you up and they'll watch you walk into a trap because they understand who you are emotionally and they understand who you are psychologically. The stage, I'm saying this uh, for a reason. The stage is being set by and has been set by uh, this democratic cycle, this democratic machine. They know. This is why Joe Biden could stand up to you and sit and tell you, if you don't vote for him, you not black. If you don't vote Democrat, you not black. Because he understands your psychology. He understands how your emotional resistance work, how your emotional intelligence work. He understands how you get excited and you say a whole lot of things and then you fall right back into the snare. Because he understands you're gonna get mad and you're gonna say, let's boycott this, and then next thing you know, you ain't even on that page no more because he understands that how you work and how you think. Okay, Robin says this: someone who is comfortable in his own skin, he knows himself. He knows himself and what he wants. He believes in being a provider, both emotionally and physically. Be confident and self-assured. I believe all women are looking for those qualities in a life partner. Yes, I would say so too. I would say all women are looking for those qualities in and I think men are looking for those same qualities in a woman. But okay, so I see you didn't there we go right there, George. Okay, we gonna I'm gonna read yours in a minute and then we'll see. Okay, I see you to say anything about the financial dynamic in that whole in what you said. You didn't mention uh you didn't mention anything about finances. Yeah. So I see you didn't say finances in there at all. So is that not an issue? The finance part not an issue because you can take care of yourself, or um, if now, okay, let me ask you this: if he comes to the table with all of those qualities and he's more successful than you financially, are you going to be intimidated with his all of his uh secureness, all of his greatness and his financial status? How do you think that's going to make you feel? Or do you feel that you are better equipped financially to overshadow all of those things that he has going for him and not make you feel inadequate about who you are? I hope that's making sense. Okay. Okay, financially solvent but not rich. Okay, got it. Okay, so So he has to have some bankroll. So George says it like this. George Parham says, like, he said, not to sound chauvinistic, he said, but most women aren't aware of what their ideal man is, simply because most aren't even aware of what they need. For one, for some will swear that they don't need one, while others don't know the attributes to seek in a man. Lack of knowledge of herself alters her ability to correctly choose a male counterpart or a soulmate. Okay, that's an interesting take. Her not knowing herself and not knowing how to emotionally connect with herself kind of throws her off balance, and she doesn't really understand um, what she needs in a man because she don't fully understand herself. So finances most times are what creates the stumbling block in the union between us as a couple. Yeah, that's generally a serious issue with a lot of people. Money is a big deal. So him him having him having success doesn't bother you at all, Robin. Right? It doesn't bother you at all. Him being everything that you could possibly want in a man and having money, it seems to be a plus for you. What about you, Nisi? What's your general position on dating, and what what an ideal man would look like for you? Um, so what you say? You said I thought Quas was the only one who understood the game. I see we have a few from Richmond. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what's going on, Raven? How you doing, man? So we got this machine going on. We got this machine going on that same as Robin. Okay, got you. We got this machine going on. That's yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think the energy. I think that energy is what seems to me that good energy. If he got all of those qualities, that good energy is a given. I think it's a given. But I mean, we can run across people that's foolish. That could be successful but foolish as heck. So who you know you're right. We got to be considering that energy and what he's thinking, how he's processing life, how he manages himself. I mean, see, we gotta look at all of those things, y'all, when we dealing with people. We gotta really take a really good look at people, because people people lying in the beginning. So everybody's lying in the beginning. Have y'all been seeing the Tessa Ressa lady, or whatever her name is, in her 50 episodes of 50 episodes of talking about her toxic husband, her narcissistic husband, and all of that stuff, and then all of the stuff that uh the, all of the things she said, and how that whole scenario went, and how he said these things to her, things she wanted to hear, and as she was hearing them, she wasn't properly vetting anything that he was saying. And so we gotta properly vet people. When I say vet, I meaning properly look into people. Uh, Look into what people are talking about and process it properly. Um, yeah, Ressa. Yeah, Ressa Tisa, 50 parts, babe. Yeah. So we got to look at this stuff. We got to look at this stuff. We gotta. She was ignoring the red flags. We got to look at this stuff, and we gotta take what people are saying um, serious, but investigate it with some vigor because uh, people say a whole lot. We do a whole lot in the beginning. You know, we talk a really great game. We present ourselves in a really great way, and it usually takes about 3 months for the. Oh man, come on, yes, Nisi, that's a given right there. We gotta know the Lord. It ain't something that we can't. We gotta, we gotta. Prayer is prayer is always the. Uh, it's freezing on your end. It ain't freezing on mine. It's freezing on your end, bro. I'm okay on my end. It seems to be okay. Anybody is? Do I look like I'm freezing y'all on my end? So we gotta take what they're saying and of course you don't want to make people feel inadequate. Um, we don't want to make people feel inadequate about what they're saying to us. We don't want to make them feel inadequate. It's good, Robert. We don't want to make them feel it's good, bad. Yeah, okay, we good, okay. We don't want to make them feel inadequate when we're talking to them and we're going through the process and we're yeah, check the internet connection, bro. We don't want to make them feel inadequate, but what we do want to do is we want to make them understand that we mean business, and we're not here to play any games. We're here to be grown folk, and we're here to manage these processes right. Because you know what? If we're gonna build a life, no, we gotta start off like we want to build it, and gotta start off like we want to win with it. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk, and we're gonna investigate. We're gonna go out to lunch. We're gonna go out to dinner. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do all of the stuff that we need to do to work through the process, and we're gonna spend the adequate amount of time with people so that we could understand who we're actually dealing with. It doesn't make any sense these days and time. We too old now. We older now. We don't have time to be playing no games. And so we need people that's going to be real talk, and as real talk as we are, so that we could get here and get something done. Because we it's the empowerment of black love needs need oh that's I think Robert, I thought that was a given. Asking questions, we gotta ask questions. You can't. How you gonna know somebody if you don't ask no questions? If you don't ask no questions, please. That's observation is a good thing. I mean, that's the observation is the backbone of any scientific phenomenon. I mean, so we questions has to be oh no, we not you gotta ask. You gotta ask. You didn't put too much work in out here in these streets, not to ask no questions. You got too much to lose. We got too much out here. We didn't build big careers, and we call it big shots. You calling big shots out here. You got hundreds of people that listen to you and depend on your intellect to drive the structure of this company. So these companies. So yeah, you better ask some questions. Yes. No, they don't like too many questions to me, because I don't like for you because that you get the question to me, and I get irritated quickly over questions. Men, we generally don't like questions. Joy, do you like to be? Do you like to answer a lot of questions? Do Yusuf, you like to get questioned a lot? I mean, I mean, we there's a couple of us men on here, so let me ask them. Do y'all like to be questioned a lot? Yeah, game plan is over with, Joy. That's right. Yeah. So which questions? I mean the pertinent questions, babe. Hey Renee, what's going on, sis? Thank you for coming. The pertinent questions need to be asked. I mean the real questions. We need to ask real questions. I'm talking about George say he don't like questions. I think it's a man thing. I think it's really a man thing about the questions. Them questions, getting questioned like that, being interrogated is being interrogated is challenging. It's like, oh, let me interrogate me, asking me all the questions. But you gotta ask those questions. You gotta ask those real questions though. What 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 happened in his last relationship? Who was he in a relationship? Is he are you selfish? I mean, you got to ask them some real questions. And I don't want to get into some on here and get to talking about some of the questions you need to ask. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna say this, and I mean this with no well, I'm gonna say it like this. You need to ask people, are they gay in these days and times? Because folk is out here, they out here doing their thing, and so you need to. Um, the question was, do you like to be questioned? Do you like a woman asking you a bunch of questions? So you need to ask folk. You need to ask folks, what their sexual status is. We need to know, because you can't be around here uh messing with people that's switch hitting and they got a lot of things going on. We can't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about both men and women. We can't be keeping these things off limits. In these days and times, people, we got to confront the issues, and we gotta ask the questions, and we gotta be stern with our question asking. We gotta stand on business with it, and we can't go without the answers. We need to ask the question, and we need to answer, because it's too much happening out here, and we can't you can't put your life in somebody's hands that can't manage it. So ask the questions, um, and if the questions don't line up with the action, then we got to move on, and it's okay to move on. It's okay. We don't have to. You don't have to hang out in circles that don't fit your um that don't fit your life brand. Yes, right. You don't have to. You don't have to. We don't have to be in situations today that we don't want to be in. You don't have to accept things that you don't want to accept. You don't have to. I don't have to. Accept your issues if I don't want to accept your issues. And you shouldn't be made to feel bad about how you feel and what you want in your life. You should never feel bad about any of that, because it's your life, and you gotta take your life and bring your life into control, and make sure that your life is centered in what works for you and what your needs are. If not, you're going to be unhappy later on down the line. I have a friend. Um, she's been married to her husband now. How long they been married? Maybe right at close to 40 years now. But she knew in the beginning certain things didn't line up in the beginning. So over time, because they didn't line up in the beginning, she's seen that the level of love that she had, he wasn't able to meet that level of love. So what ended up happening is she just moved through her life where she just, she progressed without him and he progressed without her, but they stayed together. You know why they stayed together? They stayed together. Uh, they stayed together because they were a good business team. It wasn't. It wasn't because they loved each other. It wasn't because they were great in bed with each other. It wasn't because of none of that. They were a good business team, and they together they paid off 3 homes, but lived 2 different lives. She's unfulfilled in one area, and he's unfulfilled maybe in the same area she unfulfilled in, but they make it work. Could you imagine they were somebody 40 years and really don't love them, just kind of waiting for them to die? Both of y'all sitting there just kind of waiting for the other one to die. So maybe y'all can have an opportunity to have some level of happiness down the stretch. The last stages of your life, you can have some level of happiness. And so you just waiting for this person to leave here so that you can, you don't know if she gonna leave before you or he don't, you don't know what's gonna happen. So find out in the beginning. Find out in the beginning what's gonna make it work for you and what's not gonna make it work for you. And so look, y'all, we uh it exists though, Georgia does exist, but I guess it becomes a habit. Yes, it do becomes a habit, Robert. I think it becomes a habit. Yeah, real talk, it does. And you just kind of man, if relationship is a business, I don't want it either, bro. I don't want it, man. I can do a lot of business by myself. I don't need to, you know. Yeah, you need to know that though, right? That's real talk, Robin. You need to know that if a person is marriage minded, because you're not going to watch this, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all listen to something. I posted it on my page, but people don't really pay attention too much to my people. They don't really pay too much to videos. So then nobody, it didn't get any traction at all. But I'm gonna let y'all hear this before we get ready to close out. Listen to this. Listen to what this brother said. Unfaithful, and I have no desire to be faithful. Cool. Let me love you based on where you actually are, as opposed to the lie, and you're gonna cheat behind my back, and only confess it when you are caught. 2 months passed, and one night while hanging out with son, we heard a shot. And listen to you lie to me
and gaslight me and tell me it's not what I know it already is, and then I gotta go pay $2,200 to find out I was right. No, save me that. The best thing that can happen to humans is if they can show up as themselves, be accepted as they are, even if it means dealing with the consequences as they are.
Did y'all hear that? What's going on, Brother Rich? Do y'all want me to play it again so y'all can hear it again, or did y'all hear that? Nobody heard it. Do I need to play it again? Rich, how you doing, man? What you been up to? Okay, you want to play it again? Okay, hold on. Or bits and pieces.
I'd rather you just show up and be like, I'm unfaithful and I have no desire to be faithful. Cool, let me love you based on where you actually are, as opposed to the lie and you're gonna cheat behind my back. And only confess it when you are caught.
2 months passed, and one night while
Okay,
hanging out with Sonny,
so what the brother is saying, he's saying that
you just show up and be like,
he want people to just be honest, just show up and be who you are. If you are cheating, lying, whatever, just be who you are and say who you are. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna start it from the beginning. Listen to y'all again.
I'd rather you just show up and be like, I'm unfaithful and I have no desire to be faithful. Cool, let me love you based on where you actually are, as opposed to the lie and you're gonna cheat behind my back. And only confess it when you are caught.
2 months passed.
So he's saying that the best thing humans can do is to show up and be faithful. I mean, be honest about who you are. If you're not interested in relationship and you're just interested in sex, if you're not interested in being with a person, just let them know from the beginning instead of taking them on this journey only to come to the conclusion that they never wanted to be in a relationship. They whatever they wanted to use you for. So let's just, the point is and this is what he's saying. He's saying, and be that person and own that and stand on that and be willing and able to accept the consequences that come with that activity. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that? How do you manage that? Can you handle somebody that comes to you and they are that honest? If somebody come to you and they say this is what it is. This is how I'm moving. This is what I want to do. And are you willing to accept it? Can you work through that level of honesty? If somebody comes to you and they say to you, this is who I am. This is what I do. And yeah, real talk. Just appreciate their honesty, because it's and if you can handle it, you can handle it. If you can't, you can't. Man, real talk. That was gonna be my next. That's where I was going next with that. Yusef, is the power of the ego That ego is a cold piece. That ego keep people in relationships because you with somebody and then they go off and they have a relationship with somebody else. That ego will drive you to stay there when you really don't want to be there because you don't want the other person to win. So you stay in that situation just so that you could you could win, and you could, or you didn't put all of this time in, and you didn't put all of this purpose into this thing, and then no, I'm not going to, and your ego gets in the way. Your ego tell you can change it. Your ego tell you you can move somebody in a direction that they don't want to go into. Like, you hear a lot of women make statements like this. I've been hearing a lot of women say they gonna get with a man if say he's not financially stable, but he's a good dude, and he works a job. He drives trucks, and her attitude is, if he get with me, he gonna have a fleet of trucks, because this is what we gonna become. I'm gonna make him better. Now, what if he don't want to own a fleet of trucks? Because you got some people that's not interested in progressive growth. They only want to do the bare minimum, or they just want to do enough to live. That's right. They only and so you already have purposed in your mind what you going to do. Your ego is driving this situation. So you immediately think that he has to acquiesce to your will and what you purposed in your mind that he should be. But the what's up, D Wash? But the real incident is, and we didn't kind of evolved in the question, bro. We kind of moved into another. Oh yeah, man, alignment is paramount, Robin. Yes, but you already set up, in your mind what you purposed this thing to be, and so you gonna drive this narrative. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. You said how you know when he's God sent. Only the person in that situation would know that. Hey, Annette, how you doing? That's a long time no see. How you been doing? Only that person knows, and that person has to answer that question based on the experience and how they feel in that situation. Yeah, man, that's what's up, bro. Good, man. Good to hear you, man. Good to see you, man. I've been okay, man. I've been getting better every day, man. Wife been taking good care of me, man. She been staying on top of me, making sure I don't overexert myself and push myself too much. Yes, if you pray about it, you pray about it. The being connected with the will of God concerning another human being is a very tricky dynamic, because and I say it's tricky because your feelings get in the way. And this is why let me say it like this. And this is why from a biblical perspective, you shouldn't engage in the sexual energy before you get married, because it messes with the emotional boundaries. You can't function right because now you have connected yourself into a albatross of things that you shouldn't have connected yourself to. So this is why we teach the abstinence dynamic in the hey Veronica, in the dynamic around faith, because it'll alter your perception of a lot of things. So when you're moving and you saying until God sends me the right one, um, only you know what the right one is, and only you know how that person makes you feel. And so it has to be a place where you can be emotionally secure. You have to be emotionally secure. Um, After you emotionally secure, you then now have to find yourself being uh, mentally secure, because the first dynamic you're going to feel when you start moving in the direction of a relationship is some emotional connection. It's going to be something emotional that drives and pushes you. And so if you're not careful, your emotional will start dictating your mental processes around how you're connecting with this person. So what happens is our emotions. This is how you see people get trapped in the relationship, because they get trapped in the emotional dynamic, and they live there, and they never move from how they felt in the beginning. And so the situation has transitioned, but you're still in that place on how you felt, what happened in the beginning, and what moved you in the beginning, and how that person made you feel in the beginning. And no, I wouldn't totally equate an emotional connection to a spiritual connection, D, because it is a bit of a different dynamic from emotional and spiritual. Um, so the emotional piece, it'll ensconce you into a place where you can't move outside of that. Um, Spirit does this. Spirit enlightens you. Spirit enlightens you, and it empowers you to be able to see um, things that you wouldn't see in the natural. Spirit is always God. So there's always this in all of us. There's this God consciousness that lives in all of us. It's called our conscience. And so our conscience is conscience. Our conscience moves by the spirit. So our spirit tells us, and it motivates us to move. Um, what could be synonymous with emotional, D, is a soul connection. So that soul connection and that emotional connection can sometimes feel the same, and move the same seemingly, and cause some of the same outcomes, but it's in fact a different dynamic as well. But we have to be careful when we engaging, because if we're not careful, like I said, everything a shift on us, and we still living in where it was good at, where it was wonderful at, where it was beautiful at, and that person has switched gears, And now they're in another place and you're still here and you're still living there and you're still trying to figure out why and how and you know what happened and it's over. That part is over. He has switched, she has switched gears. They on a whole nother they on a whole nother page. They're they're living a whole different dynamic. They're not even a person that you started out with. And you still holding on to the person that they were, and you're trying to keep recovering that energy. And that energy is gone now. And so we have to be able to manage where we're at at each stage of a relationship. Because if we don't, I'm telling you, we'll get lost in space, and we'll end up with our feelings hurt. We'll end up in abusive situations. We'll end up losing all our money. We'll end up losing making our credit get bad, messing with stuff. It'll end up being a whole big old gigantic mess for you if you're not shifting when it's time to shift. Because relationships go through phases. They start one way, and then they immediately start to go another way based on the person's perceptions of the things around them and their perception of you. Because people, hey, Sister Lillian, how you doing? Because people will lead you down a direction only to switch and go and switch gears. And so, you know, they'll start off showering you with love, and they'll start off showering you with all of the things that you are looking for, that you want, that you desire, that you need, and they'll lead you right into a snare if you're not careful. I'm really good, sis. Really, really good. And so they'll lead you there if you're not careful. And so what we want to do is we want to always stay connected to ourselves for one, and connected to our source, our spiritual source. Your spiritual source never ever gets emotional. It never ever gets emotional. It never ever takes you away from what's genuine and real. It always keeps you balanced in every situation. Spirit always keeps you balanced. It never ever ever will lead you away from your and I'll say it like this, your phenomenology, your personality, the world that created you. The spirit will never move you away from there. It says, I agree for the most part. This is D Watch. Said, I agree for the most part. The emotional state can mislead us, and the spiritual is consciousness, moving as representative for the Most High. Yes, the spirit is the spiritual. That's what this is what I said. You kind of saying what I said earlier, but you saying it a little bit different. The spiritual is really not our consciousness, to the degree that you are saying it. Your consciousness is a soul dynamic, and your consciousness is what makes you your soul is what makes you aware and relevant to what's actually happening around you, and it gives you this consciousness. Now, spirit, as I said earlier, is conscience. It's the conscience. The conscience is that part of you that knows right from wrong without ever being taught right from wrong. So it's that part of you. It's that part of you. If you adhere to, let me say it like this: if you adhere to what the Bible says about what happened to Adam at the fall, he became spiritually dead when he decided to disobey God. So he became spiritually dead. But what didn't die inside of him was his conscience. His conscience stayed alive and relevant, but it wasn't enough to uh, empower him to be able to override what his flesh and his humanity wanted to do. So God had to uh, create a way for him to be enlightened by what's actually inside of him, and that's himself. So hey, Auntie, so what he did was he created um, a way for him to become enlightened. And so the way he became enlightened is he became enlightened through the power of the spirit. This what we call the Holy Spirit. He becomes empowered by that. So what happens is at that moment that he becomes empowered, he becomes regenerated through the Spirit of God. His spirit man becomes alive. It became alive, and now it rose to the level of the conscience, and it takes him and opens him up to be able to commune and connect with God. Causes him to be able to connect with God and to talk to God and to be able to be connected to God by the very source that He is. So we have to understand that soul dynamic is what we call the human spirit, and a lot of people has been using that human spirit, that soul energy, and that soul power as spirit power. And they've been, and I'm not saying you doing that, D. I'm just saying people have been using this soul power as spirit power, and they've been using it to move by the spirit. But when actuality, they're moving by the human spirit and not by God's spirit. So this is what's been happening in our world today. When people saying they're walking by the spirit, and they've conflated the soul energy and made soul energy spirit energy, and they're two different dynamics, and they serve two different purposes in humanity. And so we have this thing happening where people are moving in relationships, and they're saying they're walking by the spirit, and they feel like they are. So yeah, and people are often confused, George, over the difference of the two, because they're two very different dynamics. We are, as humans, we are what is called a tripartite. we have a spirit, a soul, and that is housed in a body. And each one of those dynamics have their own will. Each dynamic, the body has a will that it wants to carry out. The soul has a will that it wants to carry out, and the spirit has a will that it wants to carry out. The design of the three, and it's supposed to work like this, it's supposed to work from spirit down. God talks to the spirit of a man, and then that spirit that he's talking to talks to the soul, and the soul talks to the body. The body responds to either one based on how you feed it. So our body function, our body movement is what touches the world and feels the world and experiences the world. This is what we use to manage our world, our senses, our sight, our hearing, our touch, our taste. All of these things are sensual. They're perceptive through the body, and then they're enlightened by the soul. So the soul sensationalizes all of these functions that we experience in the body. They are animated by the soul, and so this is how we feel what we feel when we feel it. And this is what I was talking about as we was progressing through the relationship process and how to manage that process, because of how we're feeling and what we're feeling. Yes, the spirit gives birth to the conscience. Yes, that's right. And so how we're feeling, all of these things are managed through that process. And so we want to make sure that we are connected in the right place, in the right moments, in the right time, so that we could get that all that God has for us. And all that you have for yourself, because you have to live this thing out. Can't nobody live it for you. You got to live this thing for yourself. You got to make sure that you're living this thing out for yourself. And if you can't live it out for yourself, you're going to make a big mistake. You're gonna make a mockery of you, and we can't make mockeries of ourselves. We all on here, we grown now. We really grown. We really grown. Hey, what's going on, Gary? How you doing, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. We grown now, so we gotta make sure that we handle ourselves like grown people. And some of us, we're not all powerful in all areas of our lives, y'all. So we gotta man, not a whole lot, man, not a whole lot, but something is up though. We gotta make sure though that we stay mature, we stay moving in the right direction. How hard that is, it's challenging sometimes. It really is. It's challenging sometimes, and it's stressful sometimes. It's painful sometimes. Our feelings get hurt. We get mixed up. We get confused. We go through some serious dynamics. I like what Lauren London said. Life is going to beat you up. Life is gonna hit you with a couple of rights and a couple of lefts. Hey, Nina Hill, thank you for coming on. Life is gonna hit you with a couple of rights and a couple of lefts, and you're gonna feel life. You're gonna get life. You're gonna learn life, and you're gonna understand life. Trust me, it's gonna teach you some lessons. And none of us are coming out of this thing unscathed. We all are going to feel life's issues and life's pains and life's struggles. We're going to feel them. You're going to engage them. You're going to have to walk out some struggle, some pain. And so just back to what we started off with. um, moving forward. Let's understand as a people. D, I don't know if you're still here with me. But I remember you were saying uh how you gonna vote. I forgot what it was you said how you was gonna vote. If you still on here, D, um, private party or something like that. I remember we used to be talking about that quite a bit, and I just want because I'm thinking I'm going in that direction as well. We gotta vote. We gotta figure out a voting process that's gonna work for us as a people, and create a machine around that. How it's going to get done, I don't know, but we need to make some type of moves and some type of and start making an exodus away from where we've currently been, just mundanely walking through life, just being an automaton. Just this is what we do, and 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 this is what they don't do. This is what we do, but this is what they don't do. They come to us, they ask. You said soul, spirit, and energy pretty much means the same thing. And the origin of the word soul derived from the Latin word soul, which means sun. And the sun is the most powerful source of energy in our universe. Yeah. I mean, the Bible. The Bible talks about. I mean, we can go into that. We can go into the Bible talks about the sun and the sun. You know what I mean? So what you're saying is true, but the energies differ in their what's the word I want to use, in their diadem. Okay, in their didactic position. When we teach them, they have some uh, differences of function. They're not. They come. I'll say it like this: soul and spirit energy. They're both immaterial. Okay, that's pretty much the only thing they have in common in connected to each other, that they're both in common. I'll say that's the only thing they have. They're both immaterial, but they're in fact two different energies, and they serve two different purposes within the human self. So yes, but yeah. So my you're not really off subject, but we was just I had just because I was getting ready to close out. Uh, I was getting ready. I was getting ready to close out, and I wanted to get back to what we originally talked about. Who are you voting for? And so I was saying, I was asking you. I remember when we used to be together all every weekend. We used to talk about. You were saying you was going to vote. You was changing your vote, and you was voting. I can't think of the term you used to use. And I was just saying that's seemingly where I'm going these days because I'm gonna move myself away from this whole dynamic around this democratic process. This democratic process does just not seem to be working for us as a people, for Black people. Hey, Damon, how you doing, man? Doesn't seem to be working for us as Black people. So we need to think of something different, and we need to usher a different process in so we can start thinking different around this stuff, because the way we currently been thinking all of these years has been unproductive. It's been unproductive. It hasn't gotten us anywhere. We're seemingly in the same position year by year, year by year, year by year. Um, Lobbying quicker. No, no, no. You used to say you was voting private. I forgot what it was. Private. Something. I forgot what you used to call your vote. You said you was voting some political party. I forgot what it was, some green political party or some kind of other political party you was gonna vote. That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. I was what I was asking you. What was that political party you was talking about voting? Hey, Brittany. So, oh, independent. Okay, the independent party. So yeah. So I need to understand who that independent party is. Who's the leader of that independent party? Is there a leader of that independent party? What that independent party is all about? That's kind of where I'm we're ready to sink my teeth into now, so I can kind of start, like I said, because I'm thinking different and I'm moving different, and because it just doesn't seem to be working for us as a, like I said, as a group of people who uh, who need some level of solidarity, because it is hey Aisha, how you doing? Because it is not working for us currently, where how it's set up. It's just not working for us. And so if we don't change our position, um, we going it's gonna be an issue. And like I said earlier, Dr. Claude Anderson, he was saying 35 years ago, in 50 years, we're not gonna have an economic base at all. And so based on what he was saying 30 years ago, 35 years ago, we looking at somewhere around 15, 20 years, that we possibly won't have an economic base. We won't have nothing to yeah, I'm gonna Google it right there. I'm gonna go in and Google it. Yeah, so it's seemingly that we don't seem to have a we still don't have a seat at the table, and we need to get a seat at the table. And sometimes we to get a seat at the table, we got to create our own table. We got to create our own table. And so creating our own table means that we got to discipline ourselves in some areas, and get it together. Because if we don't, we not gonna have nothing to get together. And I know they've been saying a whole lot of things, but it just seems the grace of God, the resilience of us as a people, we always are able to uh, make it through. We always some kind of way, we always still here. We always still here. As a people, we always still here. We can't go nowhere. We too powerful, because we able to stand throughout history, has proven how legit we are as a people, how resilient we are as a people. We've been able to make it on nothing and still some kind of way be here. I mean, we know what it is, Nisi. We definitely know what it is, but to to make it be reasonable, in this secularist movement in our society, we have to understand that we are here because it's God's will for us to be here, but also we're here because we have willed ourselves to not lose, even though it look like we losing, even though it look like we don't have it, all together at times. We look divided. We look as Kevin Hart says, we not looking too good as a family dynamic sometimes, but we always seem to rise to the occasion. I think that's something we can only be proud of that, because we still standing, we still making it go, we still living some of us our best lives. Yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm thinking, D. I'm thinking falling back on this one, man, because this one right here, bro, is this one right here is this is a piece of work right here, man. We got a system in place now, man. That's it's wretched, man. It's wretched. It's wretched. And so if we don't, if I'm freezing, I still got a good strong signal. If we don't, I'm probably, DC, I've been on almost 2 hours. This Facebook is probably freezing me, telling me to get off. I'm gonna have to get off now. So, but if we, yeah, he did hit the nail on the head, Aisha. He hit the nail on the head. We probably need to fall back on this and start organizing our own business and political strategy. We got to have one, man. What's his name had a really good strategy. I listened to him. Was it David Johnson, the one that used to own BET? I listened to him talk about it one time. Him and I think it was Roland Martin. I'm gonna look up that video on YouTube and see if I can find it. But he talked about us voting in a certain type of block or something. I got to look at the video and then I can maybe expound on it a little bit more. But we gotta do something strategic. And we should have been putting this cycle. We should have been putting it together a long time ago, getting ourselves prepared and ready, because it's really messed up that we in this current situation and we don't seemingly have a place. We don't seem to have a place. We don't seem to have a place in nobody's bucket. We don't seem to have a place. Yeah, let them fight amongst themselves, because they, I mean, there's gonna be some fallout when they fighting for us, because they always like to switch their energy towards us and make us be, we've always bear the burden of American racism. We've always bear the burden of it. We've always had to basically apologize for being treated the way we are treated, and so it's it's what I'm saying, man. And so we gotta do something about it. We gotta make ourselves relevant in some way. What that looks like, I don't know. I gotta image in my mind about what I think it should be, what I think it should look like. But you know, I don't know. I do know I want to do something though. I don't want to, just keep moving in the same direction and keep doing the same thing over and over and over again because it's not working. It's not working for me. It's not working for none of us, I don't think. But we're still here. We still got good warm blood running in our veins. We still got the ability to think. We got the ability to build. We got the ability to make progressive movements, and we have to do it. We got to do it. We got to figure out a way to do it. Falling back, I think it's a good thing. Most of my colleagues don't think so. They don't think like that. I was in a meeting a couple years back, and I said I wasn't going to vote, and they had a fit because I wasn't going to vote when Trump got in office that last time. I didn't vote. I wasn't going to vote. I ended up voting. I voted for Joe Biden because I just could not consciously vote for Donald Trump. I couldn't consciously vote for Donald Trump. So I voted for Joe Biden, even though I passionately despise him for what he did to us as a people, and with that crime bill and the language that he put together and what he said about us as I was a youngster at that time, so I was put in that super predator category, and treated as such in the streets of Richmond, California. So for me, it was just an issue, and I can't deal with that. You know what I mean? I can't deal with that dude, man. I'm not voting for him again. I'm done with that whole system. And so moving forward, I'm going to hang out in this independent party until we can create something, until somebody comes to the forefront with something, somebody that's a lot more politically astute than I am. Hey, D, I'm gonna tell you something. You speaking real talk, man. Politics is a money game. My boy used to own a print business. And he used to own this print business, and he used to do all of the work for these people. And the corporations. Oh my God! Yes, he said that. My God, it's corporations run politics, bro. And my boy can tell you firsthand because he was in the print business, major print company, and he did the work for some of the biggest corporations in our region, billionaire boys, man. And man, I'm telling you, that machine, that machine, bro. That machine, man, I'm telling you, that political machine is a corporate machine. That political machine is ran. Yeah, D, George, I know your position, bro. I know your position, and I'm not hating on it at all. I know YouSelf's position as well. I'm not hating on y'all position at all. I admire y'all for y'all stance on that. But if we're not gonna vote in one direction, it's like, man, what do you do? I mean, yeah, real talk. Hoping they feel sorry for us, and they don't. These people don't feel sorry for you, bro. But these people, if they could, they they take us all and throw us all in jail and throw away the key. Them people don't care nothing about us, bro. Them people ain't never cared about us. I mean, so what you think is the best move, George, before we get off? What you think is the best move? Yusef, he ain't said nothing in a while, so he probably gone. Aisha, what you think is the best move? I mean, what's your position? Yeah, he did say this about some monkeys. I heard he said that years ago. He said that around the same time he wrote that crime bill too. He put that out. I think it was around that same time he said that. Yeah. So I'm just kind of interested in in where we at. Hey Lisa, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm about to get off of here. I'm an hour and 51 minutes on here, Lisa. Real talk. He do let us know how he feel. He do. He let us know how he feel. Trump let us know how he feel. Just got off work. Who you voting for, Lisa? What how you what's your position on this thing real quick? Um he do. He do. We you at least you know what Trump stand. You know where he stand. Um and it wasn't like he did anything to harm black folk. He kind of had an agenda to, put us in a position. He seemed like he had an agenda to maybe put us in a position to some degree to make a little bit more money. Yep. See, D, you see Lisa D, she basically falling back too. She not voting for a president. She just voting just the measures. Yep. That's kind of what I'm thinking too, Lisa. I'm thinking I'm just gonna vote the measures. I don't think I'm gonna even deal with no no presidential. I don't know, but like you said, it's not worth it on Lisa. Pick Trump over Biden. Okay. So are you voting no, George? Are you gonna vote? Yeah, you gonna vote. Yeah, you definitely gonna vote. Yeah. So yeah, so the thing that we gotta consider is um what so if you don't vote the Dems out, then I believe another 4 years of there would destroy us. Hmm. Are you talking about the liberal policy machine, or what are you talking about? Just when you say their policies would destroy us, liberalism is very dangerous to in the context that they are operating liberalism in today is pretty dangerous. It's a killer for sure. It's driving people. Um, I mean, it's driving people to hell. I mean, it's really bad the way they operate now with liberalism. Liberalism 20 years ago wasn't even the same, as what it is now. Yeah, right. Both sides are two different versions of evil. It's how you Me too, Lisa. I became like in that. I kind of moved in that Republican cycle when I was uh, when I was running a business and I was having some success in that business, and I seen the way that the Republicans are pro business and how they structure the policies around businesses to make money and put more of your money in your pocket, even when they're in office, on how the tax codes that they write and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what got me intrigued into that whole a Republican um, uh, mindset and process. So for me, that's what started driving me more closer to that narrative. And so that's why I'm there. But for some reason I can't consciously just go all the way there. I don't know. For some reason, I guess it's been embedded into me to think Democrat all my life. For some reason, I feel bad about being a Republican. Being a Republican, thinking like, being a Republican. For some reason, it hasn't been able to sit well with me. I almost feel ashamed of being a Republican. And and I'm just being real. I almost feel ashamed about it. I feel guilty about not voting Democrat, so I'm just like, but I'm over it. But I'm just saying how I felt over the years, as it gets closer and closer to the time, I just going in that booth and voting for all the Democrats just seems, I mean, voted for all of the Republicans just seems it's daunting to me, so I'm just saying for me. And so I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. And I'm there. I know I'm not voting Democrat. I'm done with that whole process. I'm totally done with that. I just can't go there no more. That's a wrap for me. But um, man, thank y'all for coming on with me and talking to me for these last 2 hours. Thanks, D. Good seeing you, bro. Lisa and George and everybody else. Aisha, thank you for coming on, y'all. I got a few other people on here. Hey, what's going on, Alan? How you doing, bro? You doing all right, man? Um, yeah, real talk. Neither one of them gonna relinquish their power. So the electoral, yes, right. The college does. So we really don't have no real say anyway. Um, what's going on, Ken? What's going on, Mitch? How you doing, brother Mitchell? Man, I ain't seen you in a minute, bro. I was honestly, man, I was just thinking about you this morning, man. I was like, man, how Kenny and the whole family and everybody doing, man? I'm doing okay, Alan, man. I'm getting better, man. My headaches are subsiding. Some days they're better than others, man. But I had, since I had this stroke, my head has been hurting me continuously. But man, I'm okay, man. I'm just able to push past it and still do what I got to do. When I get off from here, I'm gonna take me a pain pill and just relax and go to sleep. And hopefully I'll be okay in the morning. Yeah, okay, y'all well, y'all doing good, man. I'm happy to hear that, man. Yes, 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 man. So, hey, D, man, I'm gonna get up with you, man. Uh, maybe this weekend I hit you up this weekend or hit me this weekend. Um, you too, George. Um, hook up and talk and chop it up, man. Put something together, man. Talk for a little while. Uh, and so, thank you, Nisi, for coming on with us. I love your support. Thank you so much. So man, so let's yes, sir. Okay, bro. George, D. Wash, it is currently obvious that we have but two choices, and it is also currently obvious that if we do not vote the current administration out, then we'll be worse off. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you, sis. Thank you, Nisi. Thank you so much. Hey man, man, thank y'all for joining me, man, and coming on with me, man, and talking this stuff out, man. And we got to talking about relationships and making those connections, and so we can definitely revisit it and talk again next Thursday. I usually like to come on around 8 o'clock, but I might come in a little bit earlier, especially if I'm gonna be on for a long time. Like now, I might start coming on at 7. But it was so good talking to you all tonight. Thank y'all again for coming on and supporting me. I see y'all later. God bless you. Thank you, Lisa. Talk to y'all later. Yes, for sure, bro. Appreciate it for real. Everybody that came on with me. Got a few people still on. God bless you all. Thank y'all. Talk to y'all later. Good night.